Interventions with a king. Discussion and commentary based on articles from JACC Cardiovascular Interventions.
I'm Spencer King, editor of JACC Intervention, and I have the pleasure today to visit with Dr. Brigitta Brott from University of Alabama. She's associate professor there in interventional cardiology, and she's written a very nice editorial for JACC Intervention on a paper that looked at impact of drug release on vascular response. And in this case, the drug release paper by Dr. Guglielmi was looking at OCT as a measure of vascular response. First of all, why is OCT of value in judging the response of drug-eluting stents?
OCT provides a really profound level of definition of the tissues on the surface and right under the surface around the stents, and so it can give us a really good estimate of the amount of neointimal proliferation that occurs in response to stent placement, as well as the degree of endothelial coverage.
And in this paper by Dr. Guglielmi, what they were comparing were different kinetics, different release kinetics. What did they learn from this observation?
Sure, they were using the same stent platform, the Medtronic cobalt chromium stent platform, and then released zodorolimus either in the faster release kinetics of the traditional release from the phosphorylcholine, and they compared that to the more sustained release that occurred over about a month period from a BioLinks polymer coating. And so the stent platform is the same, the drug amount is the same, but the stent, the drug release actually occurs over 24 hours to a week, and in the faster release, and in the slower release it occurs over primarily over a week, and then is sustained out to a month. And with the slower release, there is a much more profound inhibition of neointimal proliferation, but also resulting in a greater degree of uncovered stent struts.
So this is kind of news that seems quite reminiscent of what we think went on with the first generation stents, the Cypher stent, right, that had the release kinetic of that sort. It occurs to me that this understanding of the release kinetic may be important to new drug development or new stent platforms, and how, whether they be new polymers or perhaps stents without polymer and this kind of thing. We're going to have all these questions about drug release. Is that important for us to try to mimic this curve?
Well, I think we're going to have to play with the curve and see whether there's a curve that actually provides both inhibition of neointima as well as promotion of endothelial coverage. And so this will be a crucial tool as the different companies go forward, evaluating not only new classes of drugs, but new classes of polymers.
So you bring us to that question of efficacy and safety. We know that trying to reduce the excessive proliferation is important to reduce restenosis, but you make the point that covering the stent is also important. Do we know whether complete coverage is really protective against late thrombosis?
We don't know that from OCT yet. That we know that there's a covering over the stent by OCT, but we don't know for sure that this is actually endothelial coverage. It may be fibrin or something else.
Okay, we can't see the cells, but we can clearly see the thickness of
right.
of the covering. Well, thank you for enlightening us about this particular study, and congratulate you on your work in studying the vascular response to drug-eluting stents. Thanks for visiting with us today.
Thank you very much.